What's up guys, in today's video we're going to be looking at two awesome packs from Fjallraven, the Keb 52 and the Kajka 65. So before we jump into the video, we're just going to talk through the structure of the video and also just a few things about Fjallraven packs. First thing is the structure, so we're going to have two segments, one about the Keb 52 and one about the Kajka, which we'll timestamp, so that if you just want to learn about one of these packs you can skip to that immediately. And then once we've spoken about both packs individually, we'll come back together and we'll just compare the two and help you decide which one might be the right one for you in case you're trying to make a decision between one or the other. The other thing just to touch on for Fjallraven packs is that if you're looking for an ultralight pack, then this probably isn't the right video for you. Both of these are relatively weighty bags, and the reason for that is that Fjallraven are focusing on longevity and durability with these packs rather than trying to keep the pack ultralight. They want to make a pack that's super comfortable to carry, carries heavy weight really well, and will last a really long time, and obviously that will all have an impact on the weight of the pack. So if you're not looking for a ultralight pack, then you are in the right place, but if you're looking for something that's super duper light, then this might not quite be the product for you. So without further ado, let's jump into the Keb 52. Kicking things off, we've got the Keb 52, and as the name would suggest, this is a 52 litre pack, which lends itself really nicely to multi-day trekking. This would be suitable from anything from one night all the way through to 4 or 5 nights, depending a little bit on the equipment you've got and how compact that kit is. As mentioned at the start of the video, this is on the heavier end of the spectrum. It weighs 2.2 kilograms, so it is heavier than some of the other options on the market, but what it lacks in weight efficiency, it gains in durability and longevity. Fjallraven would like this pack to be something that you hand down, down the generations, and that sort of starts with the external face fabric. So we've got a G1000 fabric running down the front side of the bag, which can be waxed if you wish. Waxing it gives it a level of water repellency, but it doesn't make it waterproof by any means. And then on the high wear areas, so side and the bottom, we're seeing the Bergshell 400 denier face fabric, which is incredibly durable. It's just going to help improve the life of the pack and make sure it can shrug off any sort of scuffs, scrapes and abrasions. A really nice start to the pack, and it means you're going to have a pack that will last you a long time and can stand up to some real abuse out on the trail. So the first thing to note is that there is a included rain cover with this pack, and it's stored in the top pocket on the lid. This is included in the pack, it comes with it. It's just a really nice feature because we don't see that on a lot of packs anymore. It seems to be the first thing to go when it comes to hiking packs, and often have to be bought separately. So that is included with the pack and stored in a nice pocket on the top of the pack. If you don't feel you need it, you can remove it, and then you've got a nice pocket on the top, which is big enough for hats, gloves, those kind of things, not quite big enough for a waterproof coat and waterproof trousers. Continuing with the lid, we've got a completely floating lid system, which means we can adjust the amount of volume the pack has by moving the lid up and down. It's a traditional flip open system, like so, and can be completely removed if you wish, just by a couple clips. On the underside of the main lid, we have got a name and contact form here, and we've got a small security pocket which has got a key clip inside, which means we can put anything that we don't want direct access to out on the trail, but we want to keep nice and safe. Car keys, house keys, ID, wallet, those kind of things that you won't need while you're out, but you need to have with you. On the top of the bag, we've got a few different things. First thing is a retention sort of strapping system and a volume reduction strap. So if you fully load this pack and stack it quite high, we want to make sure that that weight isn't moving and shifting. So using this will secure that load nicely. It also can be used as a compression strap to pull down and compress that load further into the bag, all helping with stability. You could also use this to attach something to the top of the pack, whether that's a roll mat or a tent. Directly underneath that, we have two draw cords in play. We've got a lower one and we've got a higher one. If you decide to use the full capacity of the pack, then you use the top one, and that gives you a really nice tall pack and loads of space. If you're going out for one night, so you're not filling the pack, you can just simply tuck this away and use the lower draw cord to secure it. And as I said, because the lid is completely floating, you can adjust it to sit at those different heights depending on how much stuff you have in the pack. There is a compatibility for a water reservoir, and you can run the hose out of the small hole here, which can then be fed and routed down the shoulder straps using the retention hoops just here. In terms of the inside of the pack, you've got one giant space. This can be accessed from the lower portion of the bag, which gives you direct access if you don't want to pull everything out of the top to get to it. So we'll just re-secure the lid onto the top of the pack. It's just 4 standard sort of buckle clips, which you would expect to see on a hiking pack. Super easy to do and easy to adjust. Now we'll make our way down the front of the pack, and the most notable thing on the front of the pack, other than the really nice leather Fjallraven patch, is this really big U-shaped zip pocket. If we open that up, we find we've got a really nice cavernous pocket with a few little organisers in there as well. Easily big enough for waterproof coat and waterproof trousers, things you might need access to on the trail and don't want to have to go into your rucksack to get. But also potentially your campsite shoes or flip-flops, which can be slotted down the elasticated pouch here. And we've also got another small security pocket here as well, for things you might not want to get out, or potentially things like head torches and stuff that you might need access to easily and quickly when you get to camp and you don't want to have to go into your bag looking for it. That's a nice place to store it. That pocket there only comes down to the line of the elastic, so it's not a big pocket, so it's not like you're going to be digging around trying to find stuff all the way down at the bottom of the bag. This pocket is also baffled, so it's got its own sort of volume to it. So if you fully pack the bag out, it isn't going to have too much of an effect on the volume and the space inside this pocket, and vice versa. If you pack this pocket full, it doesn't indent too much into the actual main pack. Moving on to the sides, we'll go to this side. No, we'll go to this side. On the side of the pack, we've got a few things. The most notable are the 2 compression straps on the side. These can be used to compress the volume of the pack. So again, if you only go out for one night and you don't fill the pack, you can compress the amount of volume in the pack so it's not, that weight isn't moving and shifting as you're carrying it, making it uncomfortable. They can also be used to retain things like hiking poles or ice axes, depending on where you're going and what you're doing. And then on the lower portion of the thing, we've got a really nice, sleek bottle pocket. This is completely tucked away and tethered away using some strapping. So if you're not using it, it keeps the bag really nice and sleek, prevents any snag hazards. But if you do need a bottle holder, you can undo these and you've got an elasticated bottle pocket, easily big enough to take a 1 litre Nalgene. You could even take a 1.5 litre if you prefer those slightly bigger bottles. Coming back to the top of the bag, we've got really nice metal hook clips on anything that's going to need a lot of retention to it. And this one in particular is a nice easy opening hook system because we have direct access to the inside of the bag through the side, which means if we need to get to something that is lower down in the bag during the day, we can do that without having to pull everything out of the top, which is really nice. It's a 2-way zipper, so you can store it however you wish, and then you've got your retention and compression strap on the outside to secure all that in, and also to hold anything you might want. That is exactly the same on the other side, but we do leave the direct access zip on this side of the pack. Coming down to the bottom, we've got that zip compartment, which gives us direct access to our sleeping bag and roll mat, if that's what we like to keep in the bottom. And then moving around to the sort of business end of the bag, where we see our suspension and system, we've got 2 elasticated hip pockets, which stretch to accommodate a relatively large amount of stuff. This would be a perfect place to keep things that you need direct access to out on the trail. Snacks, gels, that kind of thing, phone potentially, or even hats and gloves as well. There's plenty of space in here, and because of that stretch, you could definitely get a set of gloves and a hat in there, no problems. Directly behind that, we're seeing a lot of foam to give us a really good level of comfort when we're carrying it and help the bag mold to our body. And that foam continues all the way around the hip belt and into the lower back, and then up onto the adjusted shoulder strap system and down the shoulders as well. At the front of the pack, we're seeing a fully adjustable sternum strap, which can run up and down depending on where you like to sit it. You've got a whistle on there as well, and a little bit of elastic so that when you put it on and do it nice and tight, you've still got a bit of give in the strap, which is really nice, just makes it more comfortable. We've got our retention straps for our hydration bladder running there, and then we've got the option to adjust the back system to fit us perfectly. It's a nice simple system, we'll show you a close-up of. You simply release the buckle at the top and slide the back system up and down to fit you as best it can. Really nice to see a nice metal buckle, because this is obviously a area that's going to take some abuse. And then directly in front of that, we've got a grab handle as well for moving the pack around, chucking it onto the bottom of buses and so on, or dragging it into your tent. And then directly behind that, we have our 2 wooden struts, which are going to help distribute the load of the pack really nicely, help give you lots of support and make the entire system nicer to carry. It's going to help evenly distribute the weight between your shoulders and your hips, just to give you the most comfortable carry it possibly can. So that was a quick look at the Keb 52, a really nice multi-day trekking pack. What we'll do now is move on to the Kajka 65 and then we'll come back and compare the two. Next up, we are going to be looking at the Kajka 65, and as the name would suggest, it is a 65 litre pack. As you can see, straight off the bat, it's not quite as sleek as the Keb we were just looking at. There's a lot more going on the outside of the bag. There's a lot more straps, pockets and pouches. So yeah, it's not quite as sort of streamlined as the Keb, but it's giving you a lot more versatility and the ability to carry a lot more stuff. The first thing to touch on is that this is a 3.3 kilogram rucksack. So again, it is on the heavier end of the spectrum and it's heavier again than the Keb, but you're getting a lot of functionality, a really good level of durability, and the longevity of the pack is greatly improved over other brands that are a lot lighter. So if you're looking for something that's going to last a long time and is up to quite tricky and demanding environments, then this is still a really good option for you. The external fabric is a 500 denier face fabric, which is incredibly durable, which means that even if you're using this with ice axes or potentially up on dartboard with sharp granite, then this is going to last a really long time. It's going to be very abrasion resistant, and it's going to keep the bag looking good and staying strong for a long period of time. There's a lot of features to go through, so what we'll do is we'll start at the top and we'll slowly make our way down to the bottom. So if we start at the top, we've got our traditional sort of flip open lid. We've got elasticated bungee on the top with a toggle at the back, which allows us to attach some stuff to the top if we wish. If we pivot the pack round, we've got a small slimline pocket directly on the top, which is using a YKK main zipper. This is probably big enough for maybe some light gloves, so like liner gloves, your phone, wallet, ID card, those kind of smaller items, potentially your keys. And then located directly below that is a much bigger pocket, which could take potentially your waterproofs, but it could definitely take a chunkier pair of gloves, a nice hat, and any of those slightly bulkier items that you might want access to while you're out hiking, but don't necessarily need direct access to while you're hiking. The lid itself is a little bit more versatile than we've just seen on the Keb, and that's for a number of reasons. The first is, if we unclip it, we can remove the lid exactly like we did with the Kebs. However, this time the lid can be used completely independently of the pack itself. So there is a nice strap here which is all tucked in, which can turn this into a hip pack. So you can have this on whether you've got the backpack on or not. And if you're hiking with a backpack, this can give you easier access to some of those essential items that you might be keeping in the top. If you're in an environment where you're going to be changing layers on a regular basis, so taking gloves on and off, hats on and off, working hard and stopping, then this is a really nice way to do it. But also if you just want to be able to get, put a camera in here and have easy access to it, this is a really nice option for you. What you can also do with a lid, if we pivot the pack back round, you'll notice we've got two sort of female points on the front of the pack, and we can actually clip the lid on and turn it into a chest pod. And this just again gives us slightly easier access to those essential items that we might be keeping in the lid. If you're into your photography, then you might want to keep a camera in here, gloves and hat, and you've got easy access to it without it being sort of flapping around on the outside of the pack. So a really nice option. Whether you use it as a sort of hip pack or a chest pod is completely up to you. It's whatever you find the most comfortable. We've still got a draw cord top on here, so it stops any debris getting into the top. Obviously you're going to lose a certain level of weatherproofing by removing the lid, but in drier conditions, this just gives you another option on how you wear the pack and how you use the pack, which is really cool. On the other side of the lid, if we just pop this off once more, we have also got our identification patch that we saw on the Keb, where we can put our name and contact information, and we've also got a small zip security pocket. This is the kind of pocket that would be perfect for your keys. You've got a little key clip in here, and any other essentials. What is currently stored in there is the included rain cover. So Fjallraven are giving you a rain cover that can go with it. If you decide to take the lid off and the weather is a little bit wet, you could always use that to cover the hole in the top. So a really nice option from Fjallraven, and makes the pack a little bit more versatile and a bit more user-friendly as well, meaning that you can have easy access to some of those more essential items. We'll pop the lid down there for now, and we'll come back to the top of the pack. Like I said, a dual draw cord system, and then we've got our volume adjustment strap on the top. This allows us to not only cinch the bag down and compress it if we've got it fully loaded, but it also allows you to attach certain things to the top. Maybe you want your roll mat going across the top, potentially your tent. And then, like I said, just a simple draw cord system. So we've got our high volume one at the top here, which allows us to extend the pack up to its full potential. And the lid will also sit on top of this, that's completely adjustable. And then we've got our second drawer cord at the bottom as well that we can use to cinch it in, which helps reduce the chance of any debris getting inside, but also means that we've got 2 cinch points, so we can just tuck this one in if we decide not to completely fill the pack. This is not the only entrance to the main body of the pack. We have also got a front entry point, which is just here on the main part of the bag. You'll need to undo the side compression straps to get access to this, and it's just a very simple U-shaped zip opening. When you get in here, you've got access to your main compartment, meaning that you don't have to pull everything out through the top to get something that's lower down in your pack. You've got a mesh storage pocket. It's a good place maybe for your wash kit, things you might want access to a little bit sooner when you get to camp. We've got a piece of webbing here which we can clip and attach things to that we want to keep in one place, so we know exactly where they are when we get to camp, maybe a head torch, that kind of thing. And we've also got some webbing points on the sides here for any additional things you might want to secure in place. Zipping that back up, we've obviously got multiple attachment points to the outside of the pack. Like we said at the start, it's not quite as streamlined as the Keb. There's a lot more going on, and there's a lot of different points where you could attach equipment to the outside. We've got the ability to attach both hiking poles and walking ice axes as well, depending on what you're intending to do and the environment you're intending to go out in. We've got 2 very big side pockets, easily big enough to take some food and that kind of thing. You've also got, and I should have mentioned it when we were looking at the inside, the ability to put a hydration bladder in here as well, running the hose down one of the shoulder straps, so you can use that instead. Making our way down lower on the pack, we've got a bottom opening. The inside of this pack can either be a completely one big open space, or you can zip in a divider and have 2 separate locations, depending on how you like to organize your kit. If you decide to use that zip divider, or you just want to access something right at the bottom of the kit, you do have access to the lower portion of the bag through that zip compartment just there. Going back to the sides of the pack, we've got compression straps. So if we decide not to fill the bag completely, then we can attach these and help cinch the pack down. Obviously, if you don't use these side pockets, you can cinch this down and compress the pack, giving you a slightly more streamlined look. There's a little bit less fabric flapping around if you're not using the pack in its full capacity. One thing to note is you could definitely get a 1 litre Nalgene in the elasticated side pockets. You've got like a bungee cord adjuster, like so. Anything taller than that, maybe one of the 1.5 litre Nalgene bottles, you wouldn't be able to use that when this pocket is full. It's not a massive issue. Most people will use a litre Nalgene, but for those of you that do like to use a slightly bigger bottle, it's just something worth considering. Now let's make our way around to the sides and to the harness system itself. So we've got 2 hip pockets. These are not elasticated like we saw on the Keb. They are made of the really durable material, so you know they're going to stay nice for a long old time. They're a relatively good size, easily big enough to get some sort of snacks, things you might need access to during the day. And we've got a really comprehensive harness system. So the first thing to note is that it's extremely well padded, and that runs on the hip belt, the shoulder straps, and also the back as well. So it's going to be an incredibly comfortable pack to carry, even if you're carrying some substantial weight. The back system is fully adjustable, and it comes in 2 different sizes, small, medium, medium, large, depending on your back length. The adjustment system is a really simple Velcro system. You undo this back panel, we'll show you a close-up, and just slide it up and down depending on where you need it to sit. The Velcro is very, very strong. I've given it a few tests. It's not going anywhere once it's set in place and well secured, so you don't have to worry about any of that. And we also do have the option to adjust the shoulder straps as well and how far apart they sit, which is going to give you a really, really good fit. Not something we see on many packs nowadays, so the ability to change that means that you're going to get an even better fit for a broader range of people. And then finally, we have got our wooden support struts, which run all the way through the bag, and this is just going to help with moving weight to the right locations. It's going to improve carry comfort, and it's just going to help move some of that weight from your shoulders down onto your hips as well. So overall, a really, really nice pack. It looks great, it carries really well, and if you're going to be carrying a lot of kit, potentially going on from those sort of 2 to 4 night multi-day treks and into more expedition style stuff, then having the large capacity, the more durable face fabric, and more options when it comes to how you carry the pack, how you wear the pack, and where you store stuff and how you organize things, this could potentially be a really good option for you. It could potentially be a really nice travel bag because we've got that lid that comes off. You can wear it as a hip belt or as a chest pod, and the ability to enter the bag a bit like a suitcase. So a really nice option, a step on from the Keb in terms of its abilities and capabilities, but not quite as streamlined if you'd like that style of pack. So now we've had a quick chat through the pack, let's just have a comparison of the two and see which one might be the right one for you. So we've now looked at both of those packs individually, and I thought it'd be useful just to come back for a minute or so and just discuss the two side by side to try and help you decide which one might be the right one for you. If you're looking for a dedicated multi-day trekking pack and you're looking to go out sort of 1 to 4 nights, then the Keb 52 is probably the best option for you, especially if you prefer a slightly more slicked back pack. You like to mostly pack everything into the rucksack rather than have things on the outside. Then this is a really nice option for you. You've also got that nice balance of fabrics, which just helps keep that weight down a little bit lower, although it's not lightweight by any means, but in comparison to your Kajka 65, it is a little bit lighter. And overall, just looking for a slightly sleeker bag for multi-day trekking, rather than pushing it to those sort of extended trips, which are going beyond that sort of 4 days. It depends a little bit on the kit you've got. But yeah, and overall, a really nice pack for multi-day trekking. It's gonna be incredibly comfortable for carrying some of those slightly heavier weights that you might incur with a multi-day trekking trip. And it's got a good balance of features, weight, and heavy-duty outer fabric. If, however, you're going to be going to slightly more demanding environments where you want something that's a bit more durable and you've also got the ability to pack a bit more for an extended trip, then the Kajka 65 is probably a slightly better option. That 500 denier outer face fabric is incredibly robust, so if you're taking it for longer excursions in really challenging environments where the chance of the bag getting scuffed, scraped and bashed around is a little bit higher, then that's really nice to have. And if you like the idea of having a bit more organisation with the pack, then this is a nice option as well. You've got the option to use the lid as a chest pod or as a hip pack. You've got your lower compartment, you've got 2 side pockets, you've got the pockets we spoke about on the inside of the sort of front opening, and we've got the lid pockets as well. So it gives you a little bit more organisation for those more extended trips where you want to make sure you are staying really organised. And I think that front opening for your longer trips where you're carrying a bit more and you might need access to kit that's lower down is really, really nice as well. At the end of the day, it's very much down to personal preference and also what fits you and works well with your body shape. So the best thing to do is to come into one of our stores and try both of these packs on to get a feel for them. The staff would be more than happy to help fit them for you. Both of these have adjustable back systems, so making sure we get that right is really important for a comfortable carry. So if you are interested in any of that, contact the closest store to you and they'll make sure they've got these available for you when you come in and you can try both of them on. I hope that's been useful. If you've got any questions, please feel free to leave them down in the comment section below. We try and reply as quickly as possible. And if you could like and subscribe, it really helps us out and helps us continue making this content for you. We'll see you next time.